Welcome, Mother of Dragons. I like your name. Welcome. Thank you for joining. Hi, Sarah. Hi, Snow. Thank you for joining. User 40692, Hawoon, thank you for joining. Emery Dream, welcome, welcome. We are going to do some free card pulls for today, but they are going to be very specific card pulls. So come on in, get settled, and I will be pulling one card for people, but it's going to be on a very specific thing. So today is Friday. Friday is a day that's associated with Venus and love and passion. I'm well, thanks. How are you doing, Steffi? And I spend a lot of time on my lives, a lot of time on my TikTok videos that I post on the daily, on my YouTube, talking a lot about the twin flame collective, masculine, feminine energy. And I think we've kind of hit a little bit of a rut. We're kind of getting the same messages again and 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 again. And I'm bored. I'm super bored. I don't want to keep reading that your person is going to come back and communicate. We know that. We got it. We got the message. We got the message 452,000 times we got the message. So clearly the message isn't your person's coming back to communicate. That is important. What's important is what is the holdup, okay? And I think a lot of us have done so much work, so much, work on self-love, work on our self-worth, like all those different things we're encouraged to work on. I think we're all doing a great job. I think we are we're really ready to experience a reward, and I think that we're overly convinced that the reward is the person. I really think that's the biggest problem in this collective. My reward is this person. My reward is this relationship. My reward is, finally having this companionship, finally having this connection. And what I think is going on is that we have to embrace that isn't the reward, and that is why the reward keeps eluding us, because we keep thinking that this culmination or this event with this one single individual is it's like the last stage of the journey, and it's not even close. So if you've been paying attention to the videos that I've been posting since 1 a.m., I had a really interesting experience yesterday, and I'm going to talk about it in case you didn't see the videos, and then I'm going to pull cards for people in the room specifically about what you love and what you are passionate about that is not your person. So if you're tired, I'm seeing somebody say I'm so done and I'm sad, and you're tired, and hi Nicole, and you don't really want to be in this space of constantly hearing these messages about somebody coming back and constantly feeling disappointed. And if you're just in this space of really wanting to actually feel good because of your own self, having nothing to do with an outside person, then I'm going to help people with that today. So whether you have a prayer badge or not today, if you have a prayer badge, that means you've subscribed to my channel, and if you've done that, I really thank you. I appreciate that. But whether you have a prayer badge or not today, I will be pulling one card on your passions, what you are passionate about, what you really love, and helping you to kind of take your passion from where it is right now to the next level. Because what you've discovered on this journey is that you can be very passionate about a person. You can love a person to the moon and back, and they will not be able to create a sense of security or fulfillment within you, because you have to have that within the self. And the only way that you have that within the self is that if your life and what you do in your life is you have that within the self, is that if your life and what you do in your life is just as interesting, just as compelling, just as satisfying as the illusion, the fantasy of the person that you have in your mind. Because you all have to admit it is an illusion and fantasy. How do you know that? It is not actually happening for you right now. It is something that is always about future potential. And it's always dissatisfying because it's never here. And the only way you can have control over that, those feelings or sensations, is if you stop externalizing your fulfillment and validation and internalize it, okay? Yes, okay, Nicole. So for moderating, what we're going to be saying is we're going to be pulling, let me think of how to phrase this. Comment for a reading about your passions. So that's what we're going to do today. So we're going to comment for a reading about your passions today. Can we both be boring and lame together? Who, you and your person? Is that what you're asking? Can you both be boring and lame together? Okay, so I'm going to start reading for people in just a moment, but I just want to relay this story of what inspired me to kind of shift my reading for today. So normally on Fridays, I do just a focus twin flame kind of a thing because it's Venus's day and it's like love and everything. But I'm sick of it. I'm tired of it. I'm sorry. Like I'm tired. I don't know how much I'm helping, repeating myself like a broken record, the same exact things that every other reader on my TikTok is saying, because every other reader is picking up this collective energy, and every other reader, I think, is also waiting for their person to come back or do something or say something. Ugh, this little piece of hair is driving me crazy. There we go. It was like tickling me. It was driving me crazy. So I'm tired of that. I'm bored of that. So let me just answer this question. I have questions about getting multiple readings at once. Okay, so the way that the personal readings work on my website is they work by minutes. So one reading is 15 minutes. That's $33. There's another reading that's $66. That's 30 minutes. And then there's one that is 60 minutes. That is $111. So basically, the first reading, the $33 reading, is for one question or one spread, like when will it happen, or the Divine Masculine Love Letter, or a general question that you have. That would be $33. I'll take 15 minutes minimum. Sometimes it's more than 15 minutes that you actually get. It can be up to 20 minutes, but it's a minimum 15-minute reading. The Tell Me Everything spread is just by itself. That's $44. The Tell Me Everything spread cannot be included in any other reading unless you did an hour-long personal session with me and we did it together and talked about it. That's the only time that you can get a Tell Me Everything that's not $44. The $66 reading is 30 minutes. You can ask up to 2 questions, or you can ask for 2. Like sometimes people want when will it happen, and they'll also want like just a general question, or they'll want the Divine Masculine Love Letter plus a question that they have. That's fine. So that's basically how it works. If you send me your questions and I feel that I can't do it in 30 minutes, or it would take me longer than that, I'll just let you know, and I'll say, basically I'm going to answer within this time frame. So that's how booking personal readings works, if you need help for that. And my advice is, do not waste your reading on finding out about a karmic partner or what your person is going to do, because the reading is supposed to give you insight for what you can do to help yourself. And so if you have me reading about your person, what your person's going to do in regards to their karmic partner or something like that, that's all I'm going to feed back to you is what you think and feel about it. I'm going to give you enlightenment about what you think and feel about it so that you can understand how to shift. But the best questions and the best readings and the things that are most helpful are the ones that have to do more with you than with your person. It's not the DM, okay? This DM needs to get it together. It's not the DM, okay? It's not the person that you're associating with the DM energy. You are the DM. You are the divine masculine. So whenever you make a statement like that, these divine masculines need to get it together. You're talking about yourself. And that's the whole reason that I'm doing this reading today, or these readings today specifically about your passions, because your divine masculine energy is not taking action towards what you feel is emotionally fulfilling to you, which means what your creative passions are, the mission work you'd like to do in the world, and the person that you've selected is not doing anything towards their emotional fulfillment with you, because they're reflecting back to you your lack of self-worth that is not allowing you to believe that you can have the life that you dream of, which is not just about being in a relationship. So it's not about the divine masculine and putting it off on this other person and saying, oh, this other person needs to get their shit together and come forward to me. No, they don't actually have to do that. They don't have to do that. What you have to do is not need another person to do anything and come forward to you in any way, because you are so satisfied and so fulfilled with what you do. And it's not that you don't need companionship and connection. We do need companionship and connection, but we can't have true companionship and connection without that happening with ourselves. And if you're not honoring your passions and your creativity, and you're not creating an outlet for that, you're going to experience lack of abundance, lack of affection, and lack of love, because your abundance is coming from your knowing that what you want to do and who you want to be is worthy of affection, love, abundance, prosperity, health, wellness, etc. So Luna has given me a reading about a situation, and I don't want that to influence the reading I get. I'm not really sure. I don't think it would influence the reading. I'm not sure. You might want to book a free consultation to just talk to me about what your needs are. But basically, all you have to do is decide if you want one or two questions. And if you want one question, book the 15-minute one. Or if you know you want the divine masculine love letter or the when will it happen spread, book the $33 reading. If you think you have more than one question, book the $66 reading for 30 minutes. Or you can try the oh crud, I just accidentally shuffled these cards like back to front instead of great. Or the 60-minute one if you want to be able to speak to me during your reading to like get more clarity about what direction to go. So basically you just have to decide on the length of time you want to pay for the reading. So hopefully that will help you. So let's talk about our passions today. And let me just quickly give you this story if you didn't already see the video, so you know why I decided to do this today. So in 1996, a film came out called Surviving Picasso. And it was a film that was an adaptation of the memoirs of an artist named Françoise Gillot, who was one of the only women that Picasso had in his life who actually had the strength and courage to leave him for being a narcissistic abuser, okay? And I saw this movie when I was 16, and I had just come back from Berklee College of Music, which I went to as a songwriter, and I played piano. I was studying piano and songwriting and voice for an intensive program they had. And then they had asked me if I wanted to matriculate and finish high school there. And I was on the fence about it because of financially for my family. I didn't know how I was going to do that. And also just I felt once I got there, I was really sort of experiencing a lot of self-doubt about my level of expertise, dedication. I was just really overwhelmed by the very challenging environment and by the competition. And I also had very black and white thinking because I was 16 and I thought there were two careers for me. I could either be a rock star or I could either be a teacher. And I ironically at the time did not want to be a teacher, even though that's my favorite thing to do now. I love teaching. That's primarily what I do as a tarot reader. But at the time I didn't think that I had what it took to be a rock star. And I was afraid I would be unfulfilled as a music teacher. So I decided not to study music and went home that summer and was like, well, shit, I'm going to need to really think about what I want to do now. And I happened to see this film, and I have no idea why. I went back and rewatched it last night because I had a calling to do so. I realized that film was very formative. I have no idea why. I went back and rewatched it last night because I had a calling to do so. I realized that film was very formative and was one of the reasons behind me choosing to go to college for art history. After I saw the movie, which fascinated me, I think my connection is going out, of course, today. I see that you lost connection to my Wi-Fi, but I don't really know why you would have lost connection to my Wi-Fi. Okay, it looks like it's back. So, I was just so fascinated by it that I got the book. And I ended up reading the book and then becoming very interested in Picasso specifically and artists, but male artists primarily at the time. So as an adult watching this film last night, I was absolutely shocked because I remember very much romanticizing the film as a teenager and feeling compassion for Françoise's situation, but not really identifying with her outside of being excited about the potential of being an artist's lover. I was very into the expatriates. I loved Hemingway and F. Scott Fitzgerald and Gertrude Stein, and I was super into that in high school. So I super romanticized this image of the honestly narcissistic, abusive masculine because, Hemingway, notorious abuser. F. Scott Fitzgerald confined Zelda to a sanitarium for her life while he cheated on her. And these were the men that I was revering because of the art that they created. And I was basically just allowing for them to be these incredibly abusive, toxic people because they made such beautiful, amazing things. And completely disregarding that almost every single one of those artists was involved with a female artist who only after that became famous because of her proximity to that artist. And in Françoise Gillot's case, Picasso ruined her career as an artist because once she decided to leave him, he told all of the major art dealers, who at that point in his career he had in the palm of his hand, to avoid her artwork, so to not purchase it, to not put it on display. So he fucking ruined her entire career because his ego was wounded by her choosing a life where she wasn't a slave of that man. So I'm watching this last night, my entire life is flashing before my eyes. Let's not forget either, lest we forget either, that somehow my son's great-grandmother is, on my ex-husband's side, was the only female biochemist to be credited and to have worked directly with Jonas Salk on the polio vaccine. Françoise Gillot just happened to have married Jonas Salk after she left Picasso. So I also have this weird tangential connection to her on top of the whole thing. And I was just this is so weird. My story about my twin the whole reason I do tarot, everything, and the reason I do music, the reason I moved to Los Angeles, so many decisions and choices I made were because my person, he's a genius artist, he's a celebrity, he is renowned, he has won Grammys, and I wanted to be with him, like Francoise. And I started watching this last night being like, oh my God. Now, I actually did manage to get on this person's radar, who in the 90s, was on MTV 100,000 times a day. Like, I managed to get on this person's radar. I became a part of this person's family. I befriended, his mother befriended me. She basically adopted me. I immersed myself in this man's world, caught his eye, his attention, and then we have had this frustrating, infuriating relationship for the last 14 years, where he has just strung me along like Picasso did to every one of his beautiful, incredibly talented, gifted, amazing lovers in his life. So I'm just sitting there watching this last night like, oh my God, my entire life has been determined by this film. Because when I was 16, I internalized this messaging about this whole relationship between the female and the male artist. Now, what's really fascinating, though, about all of this is that Francoise is the only one who was strong enough to leave Picasso, to go and pursue her own interests and dreams. She had a better life when she did leave him, and she's 100 years old right now. I just looked it up to see if she's still with us. She's 100 years old today, like within the last, I think her birthday is like November 27th. It's like coming up here. And she says to this day that she does not regret her time with Picasso, that she learned the most that she possibly could have learned to become her most authentic version of self, and that she credits him with her understanding her strength and learning her strength. I am blown away by this, okay? So this all comes from a conversation that I had yesterday with Ash, who is part of the Tuned In Tarot team. She's my sister witch, and we have meetings each week, twice a week. We do coven stuff, and then we hang out. She's also my assistant, so she'll help me with scheduling and stuff like that. But yesterday, I told her I was feeling very disillusioned. I want a career that's a lot more financially stable, where I'm not having to beg for abundance, where it's just kind of, like a salary that you're going to receive. But I don't want to be denying what my passions and my interests are, and I still want to be able to do what it is that I'm called to do. I want to honor that. So I don't want to just like jump into an hourly position as an administrative manager, which I have a background in, I could totally do. Imagine I'm your manager. I am like, fuck authority, but like also let's have the best time. It's fun. So I was talking to her, I was like, can you do a reading for me? So she does this reading for me, and towards the end of this reading, I think of this movie of Surviving Picasso. And I'm like, I think this is important for me to watch. So I get up today. So last night, and when I had this conversation with her also, I said there is something about Picasso. Because in my mind, before I watched the movie again, I was thinking that this was more about the man, Picasso, than it was about Francois. And so I was like, I know that I'm meant to be noteworthy, and that there is something that I have my North Node is in Leo. I'm a Leo sun and a Leo moon. Like, we're meant to be the center of attention. And I said, I don't know what it is I'm supposed to do specifically, except I'm supposed to be charismatic and entertaining no matter what I do. Like, that I know, but I want to know how to do that in a way that generates more abundance. And I always come back to music, like, always. I asked her, I was like, just out of curiosity, not that this is really, not that you're telling me what you think I should do, but when you picture me doing something, what is it you picture? And even though Ash met me because of tarot and because of my live tarot and and Tuned In Tarot, my Instagram account that I first started that got this whole thing started, even though that's how she knows me, when I asked her that, she said, I picture you singing on stage and just being, you know, a performer. And I feel emotion there. I know that's true, but I have resisted it because I have always related this career to my divine masculine. It is something he does. It is something I aspire to do. And I have not been able to my divine masculine. It is something he does. It is something I aspire to do. And I have not been able to make it something that is just mine. I also have had a lot of limiting beliefs about it. So I woke up knowing that I have to own my desire to do that. And I have to find a way to do it that's going to be motivated by personal development and not by my ego's needing rewards from the activity of performing music, right? So, and I also needed to figure out, okay, well, I read for the Twin Flame Collective. That's my primary source of income right now. Even if it's not the most stable thing, it is one of the most stable things I've ever done. It has generated more consistent abundance for me than any other thing that I've done. So I don't just want to stop reading cards, you know, I want to keep doing that. And I also think I'm still supposed to read for the Twin Flame Collective and dynamic to help people understand themselves and their relationship to themselves and their person. I think that's important. But I think that ignoring music in the way that I have ignored it and allowing myself to be in the shadow of this person that I have been fixated upon, that is what's kept me apart from this person. And right now, I couldn't tell you if I'm supposed to be with that person or not. Because after watching that film last night and knowing how powerful my subconscious is, the likelihood that I chose a second, because my first ex-husband was a narcissistic abuser, a second person that has the narcissistic qualities is very high. Now, whether that person has been able to heal them and, make better choices about how he treats other people remains to be seen. At this current point in time, I watched Picasso break down. Anthony Hopkins does a great job in this role, crying, so upset that Françoise is leaving him. He clearly has love and wants to experience love from her, but he cannot separate himself from Françoise was an appendage of his. She wasn't her own person to him. And I don't know if that's the kind of person that I have chosen. So I'm in a place where I'm like, okay, I don't know what's going to happen with that. And at this point, I think it's important that I not care. And instead, I focus on what I think that we really need in this collective. I think that the people in our collective that are out of balance are out of balance because they do not take action with their divine masculine energy towards their divine feminine creativity and passions. They love certain aspects of their creativity or passion. They imagine, they fantasize about it, but I don't think they do the real taking action that needs to happen because of perfectionism, because of all the reasons that your person doesn't come to you. That's why you don't pursue your passion. So today, I wanted to start a tradition that on Fridays, rather than focusing on, the divine masculine and feminine, what he's saying and what she's saying, and whether or not they're going to come into union, which is what I've been doing on Fridays, that I want Friday to be about what you love to do. And if you start working on what you love to do, I think that you are going to attract somebody who is going to have the same drive, the same ambition, not only to do what they love to do, but to be with who they love to be with. And to actually take that action to go towards that person, to communicate and express their feelings and emotions. This is not a revelation in that it's something that I've been saying throughout my last 3 years as a reader, but it's that I'm going to shift my readings to help people to honor their feminine energy. I'm not sure what's going to happen to my viewership if I'm investing a lot of time and energy into the feminine. I think that it will probably change or shift. And I'm hoping it's going to change or shift for the better, because I'm hoping that slowly this collective is going to realize that the reason they're not in union is because they have only been focusing on the masculine's messages and waiting for external masculine energy, rather than internalizing the messaging as the conversation that you're having with yourself. So that is my big long introduction to why I am shifting my messaging a little bit on my channel. I will post this on YouTube so that everyone can see it. I saw your comment about dying to know who my person is, and I really can't say, because they are noteworthy enough that I don't want to out them. But you know, maybe one day you'll find out who it was. A lot of times, and also don't get that excited because he's not that famous. Like, a lot of times I'll tell people and they'll be like, who? I'll be like, yeah, it's fine. He's way more famous in my mind than he is. I usually have to use another celebrity that he's connected with for people to be like, oh yeah. But in my mind, he's so incredibly amazing. Okay, so now we're going to do one card readings for those of you that are here who would like one, but I am pulling specifically a card that is meant, I'm going to pull a oracle and also a tarot card that is going to help us get more to the bottom of your passions or interests, okay? So that's what we're going to do today. It's free, you don't have to pay anything. If you would like a deeper insight into this and you want to book a personal session with me, you can click the link in my profile and book the hour-long session, and we can take an hour to kind of talk. I'll have you talk to me about what you love to do, about, you know, what your goals are, and I will help you. I'll use the tarot and we can kind of find a path to help you really get into that feminine energy. Okay, Heather. I'm going to start with Heather because that's the first name I'm seeing here. So just put your name in the comments and I will pull the two cards for you. So Heather, let's look at messages regarding what you love to do and your passion. Interesting. All right, let me get a tarot card for you. I'm using the Wild Unknown Tarot. I was called to use that one today. Haven't used it in a minute. Okay. So the first card that's coming up for you is protection. This really looks like the Empress energy. Like, it could be, it's not the Empress card in this deck. There's definitely other cards I associate with Empress energy in this deck as well, but she looks like an Empress holding this world right where her womb would be, her creation. Oh my god, I'm just having, also I realized last night, oh my god, I forgot, I dreamed, it just came back to me when I was looking at this card. I had a vivid dream that I gave birth last night, like, and it was very realistic, and I was in a, like, I wasn't in a hospital, I was like, I was in a situation where I just had to give birth wherever it was, and like, it was messy the way that giving birth is, and I remember that I still had the placenta within me, which is kind of, I know that's kind of like TMI, but it was a part of the dream where I was like, I still have to like give this afterbirth. I still have to release this afterbirth. So there's some messaging there for the feminine, that it's not just giving birth to the thing that you desire, but there is also this like really nourishing, like, you built up all of this, what I want to say that it is, because it's nourishing. It's what has fed you. It's what's kept you going, and it helped you to birth this creation, but you still have to release like the part of you that built up all of this energy for whatever was nourishing your creation. You have to release it. So in my situation, it could mean my person. Like, they helped me to nourish what I meant to do, what I meant to bring into the world, but I need to release that part of me now. Like, it's no longer serving me, and in fact, if it stays within me, it would actually, I would become septic and I would die. So very interesting images coming up to remind me of my dream, because the death card is here too. So protection then. So in regards to what you love, Heather, and I don't know if you know exactly what your passions are or what your interests are, but I think that you have been protecting yourself from experiencing a loss or experiencing the death of something. And you're meant to release it. You're meant to, and I'm also resonating with this because I literally have music that I'm finally going to release. My engineer who I work with in Los Angeles, that I did an EP basically last year and didn't release all of it. I only released one track, and he has been badgering me. He's like, listen, you don't have to pay me at this point. Like, just let me finish this. Let me mix it. Let's get it mastered. Let's do it. I really want to get it out. So I'm literally was protecting this, what I had created. I wasn't even releasing it into the world because I was afraid that if I released it, nobody would see it, nobody would hear it, that I would have put in all that work and taken all that time, and it just never would have come to fruition. And so I just really feared that it would be like dead before it was born, kind of a thing. That's another thing that's coming up for me. So whatever it is that you love to do or you are passionate about, you either know what that is and you're kind of protecting yourself from, like, you don't want to kill it. You know, you don't want to, like, you have a great idea, but you don't want to kill it by, like, thinking too much about it, or by telling too many people about it, or by letting people know what it is. Or it could be that you don't fully know what your passions are because you have been protecting yourself from experiencing a loss if you try to go after what you desire and it doesn't quite work out. And so you're being called to transform this fear, this energy, this worry about grief, or that you might have lost time, or you did create something, like for me, I released a song and not a lot of people heard it, and so this feeling that I lost an opportunity, or I lost a chance with it. It's like transforming that energy. And don't protect yourself from fear of loss. So you don't have any idea what it is that you want to do. You don't have any idea what your passion is. So this is exactly why I want to do these readings, because I know, Heather, that you have been really curious about the divine masculine energy and what he's doing and whether he's going to take action or not. And, you know, hearing those readings about when he's going to do it and how he's going to do it. But the truth is, if you don't know who your feminine energy is, if you don't know what your creativity is or what you're passionate about outside of the other person, that's why you're being protected from this rebirth in the connection. Because you have to know who you are, who your authentic self is. You have to know your whole world, not just one little piece of the world. You have to, like, travel around the entire globe, not just stay in a small town where your masculine is, like, doing all the amazing things. Like, it's really important for you to find out what you love to do. And I'm gonna do a series on finding out what your passion is for those of us that don't have that already, or if we have one passion and we're kind of not certain if that's the direction we should go. So stay tuned for that. I'm gonna start. It's basically, when I post daily now, it's going to include a reading specifically for this topic. So I'll make a playlist, or I did already. It's called DF Follow Your Heart, and it's like a flaming heart. So that playlist is going to have information about how to find your passion. I will give you just a little piece of advice, Heather. Your passion is going to be somewhere from the ages of 0 to 7. It's going to be something you really loved, something that you just got lost in the flow in. and it's probably going to show itself in a few different ways. And you might have you might have multiple ones. Like, I loved to pretend to teach school, play music and sing music, and make my own radio station. And to a certain extent, as a tarot reader on TikTok, I have my own channel, which is like being on a radio, right? I'm broadcast live. I teach people lessons, and I do music and include music as a part of Tuned In Tarot. The whole reason I'm called Tuned In Tarot is because I used to shuffle my music to get the song's messaging. And if it weren't for copyright violations, I would probably still do that. But so whatever, if you can go back and start to tap into some of your memories from childhood. If you have a hard time remembering, asking family members, what did I do when I was little? What were the things you remember me being excited about? And yes, inner child healing. So see, this is a beautiful segue, because I guarantee you're not going to be happy in a relationship if you don't know what you love to do in the world. You're going to be codependent in your relationship because your whole world is going to be about the other person and not about what you love and who you are. All right, so the next person, let me know your name in the comments here, and the next one I see, I will pull a couple cards for you and help you with following your dreams and your passions. Lindsay, one of my prayers. Hi, Lindsay. I got Jill and Robin next. Let me write down. Jill is next, and then Robin. Okay, and I just do that because I don't know if you've left the room, so I try to like make sure. Okay, and I see Brenda after that. All right, I'm gonna stop the list there for just a moment so I can focus on the reading, and then I'll call for names again after I finish Brenda's reading. But first, let's start with Lindsay. So let's get your oracle here. And we're going to pull a tarot for you. Incredible. So, Lindsay, do you have an idea of what your passion is already? I've pulled the cards I pulled for you. I literally got another Empress card, fertility. Yes, okay, you do know what your passion is. So we've got here, this would probably be more of an Empress card even than the protection one. I guess they both really, because the Empress is also like overprotective energy. But I'm also getting here the Seven of Swords, which is a card about trying to get away with things or trying to figure something out or get a strategy, kind of like cut corners, which is no shame in. A lot of things that have happened in my career, I would tell myself, people would be like, oh, you have to do this, this, and this. And I'd be like, well, that's what you have to do. But I don't have to do that. I'm going to skip those steps because I already know X, Y, Z, or I've already done this, or I just think my path is going to be different. So it's kind of an energy of that. It's like there might be this one way of doing things and you're like, I actually can see alternate paths. I can skip some of those steps. The fertility card here for me is definitely an energy of being prolific. And it's actually something I talked about yesterday. One of the statements about Picasso is that he was incredibly prolific. And I have like self-doubt a lot because as a musician, I write very infrequently. But I'll tell you what I do that I'm pretty sure people who write music every single day do not do. Like my mentor, which is my person's mother, she's also an artist and also a significant artist. And she actually told me, she was like, you have to write every single day. You have to be writing music every single day. And, using her son, who's my person, as an example. And I always thought to myself, that's just not how I do it. And I felt like bad because I didn't do it every single day. And then I was like, look, maybe you need to write every single day. But you know what happens when I'm ready to write? When I'm ready to write a song, I go to the piano. It's literally an urge that I cannot The only thing I can compare it to is when I was giving birth. This is another analogy for giving birth, and this makes sense because creation is about bringing things into the world. When I felt like it was time to push, I can remember laughing, because I can remember that in that moment I was thinking about how every single movie I've ever seen will show a team of people surrounding a woman being like, push, okay, right? Let me tell you what, nobody fucking had to tell me what to do. As soon as I got that urge, I was like, I don't care what anyone else is saying, I have to push right now. And I remember they told me not to push because they were worried about like his heart rate or something. And I was like, I literally will push. I don't care who is telling me not to do it. I have to do it. So I will get this feeling that's like, I have to compose right now. I will get up, I will sit down at the piano, and I will compose an entire song from beginning to end with all of the lyrics and a bridge in under an hour. And it will be like, and I'll show it to people and they'll be like, what the hell, this song is amazing. I'll be like, thank you. I didn't have to write every single day to create a song like that. That's just the way that I work. So there might be things about like writer's block, or always having to be creative, or always having to do this thing, feeling like you have to constantly generate something that might actually be like antithetical to how you work. Like you also might not necessarily believe that what it is that you want to do or that you're passionate about will result in quite a lot of abundance. And so you might spend a lot of time in your head space strategizing, how do I do something, etc. Like, how do I make money from this? I don't know how to make this be abundant or fertile. And this is a sign for me that you actually had to detach yourself from figuring out how it's going to become abundant. Like, I knew that as soon as I decided yesterday that my shift in tarot was like, it was actually kind of tugging me away from what I think is lucrative. Because in my mind, I think it's more lucrative to do twin flame readings. I think it's more lucrative to do divine masculine messages. Not that I'm doing that inauthentically. I'm doing those messages and they're authentic messages. But I had a fear that like, if I tried to do something else, or I tried to shift my focus, it's not going to be as popular, exciting, or generate as much wealth as abundance. So kind of getting out of that one path and just being like, okay, you know, I don't know. And the Seven of Cups came up in the reading I did for TikTok, which is like, there are many paths to be able to do what it is you want to do in this world. So not having to know exactly how it's going to generate abundance, but just allowing yourself to be fertile and creative and just make stuff when you feel called to do it, how you feel called to do it under your own, like your own guidance or something like that. That's how I would look at that energy for you. Okay, next up we have Jill. I'm just looking at some of these messages. Nice, you made the attendance to 11. I love that. You're welcome, Lindsay. All right, Jill, let's pull your cards for your passions. Jill, do you know what your passion is that you would like to pursue already? Is that something that you already know? The cards that are coming out are incredible, honestly. I think about, like, I know I just made the right decision today. It feels very good to know that. Oh, also, I don't know if you noticed, but I lowered my live readings. So now if you want a live reading, it's only $22. It's just not going to be as long as the readings I was doing before. If you want the longer reading, you can book the private one for $33 on my website. But if you want a more in-depth personal reading after you get your 2-card reading, if you would like deeper reading, or if you want to ask about divine masculine or feminine, you can ask any questions. You don't have to just ask about your passions. It's only $22 now. And the link is in the profile. PayPal, Venmo, or Cash App to get on the list. Okay, so I'm highly creative energetically, but have a difficult time focusing and can become stuck. Okay, so a lot of us in this collective our ADHD, like autistic ADHD, and focus can become a real issue for us. And the guilt we have about executive functioning, disordered behavior can sometimes be a block for us to enjoy our creativity. So I just, I don't know if you consider yourself in that sort of ADHD category that we all are in here, but that might be having some effect on your experience of creative focus. Okay, but what's really interesting is the card that came out for you is another card I would associate with Empress energy, empowerment, divine feminine, and the moon is very strong in this. So there's intuition and subconscious beliefs coming up through this. You didn't think of yourself that way until now. Yeah, I thought, so one of the things that I thought was, or my misconceptions, I thought ADHD was like, I just had this specific picture of a person with ADHD in my mind. I'm like, oh, you know, they can't focus at all. And like, they have to get up and move around. Their body's really restless and they're kind of always doing all these things. That's true for some people, but it's not just that, I have learned. So, there's a lot of symptoms that I have that are definitely ADHD symptoms that I just thought were character flaws, and really have just recognized that I'm just on the spectrum. And focus, a lack of focus, and hyper focus are both part of ADHD. So remember, it's hyperactivity, it's attention deficit and hyperactivity disorder. And so hyperactivity in our minds we associate with people like running all around, being very energetic, being restless, but hyper means over, and activity, so you can have one activity that you hyper focus on. For instance, I have over 54 tarot decks. I read tarot multiple times a day. I went from being interested in tarot to being so immersed in tarot that like now it is a hyper focus that I have. There's nothing wrong with it. A lot of that, you know, it's like a superpower to be able to hyper focus on something, but it can be disruptive, and it can cause us to have a harder time like spreading our focus across multiple areas. So just that can be active for you. Yeah, probably shouldn't drink coffee. Drinks cold brew, no less. But I think what I have learned is that it's just relieved some of the shame I feel about how long it might take me to do something, or whether I can focus on something or not. And that releasing of the shame has helped me to manage my symptoms a lot better. So what's interesting is your tarot card that's coming up is the Knight of Swords. So this is an empowerment, and this is somebody who follows a clear, concise strategy. The Knight of Swords gets his strategy from the Queen of Swords in my mind. So the way that I interpret the Swords suit is the Queen of Swords creates strategy because she's feminine energy, so she's generating creativity that will allow her to create a strategy. The King of Swords implements the strategy and commands it. So he basically is like, okay, I'm going to take this strategy that you came up with, and now I'm going to put this plan into action. Okay. Then the King of Swords takes the individual knights that are in his military, if you're thinking about it like that, and he says, okay, you do this, you do that, you do this. And so thank you so much, Madison, for the donation. The Knight of Swords is basically the one who knows exactly what to do. He got the plan from the Queen of Swords, and the King of Swords said, here's what you need to do. And so I think that what you need, especially since you said what you were dealing with, no wonder my SP is a Virgo. I feel that. Mine has a Virgo moon. My Venus is in Virgo, so this is how I approach all fucking relationships. It's super annoying. But so I think that you need a clear focus. You will be empowered by actually having a little bit more clarity about what you want to focus on. So the overwhelm is going to go away by breaking it down. So you need your Queen of Swords. So the overwhelm is going to go away by breaking it down. So you need your Queen of Swords who can look at the whole picture and be like, okay, I can see what needs to be done. Then you need the King of Swords to be like, sure, and be like, okay, I can see what needs to be done. Then you need the King of Swords to be like, okay, I can see that I need to do this at this time, this at this time, and this at this time. And then get a lot more focused or honed in on what you need to do that's going to create more momentum in your whatever projects you're working on. So I love that message. I have children now because I'm realizing that I'm more excited about these readings than I have been in a long time. And I used to do free readings for love questions and stuff, and I haven't wanted to do that in a while, and I can tell it's because I think that I have more important work to do, because I think that what I have done in my collective is I have sort of taught you all about the twin flame dynamic. I've taught you all about divine masculine, feminine energy inside of self. I have taught you that you need to have, you have to prioritize your most authentic self, that you have to follow your passions. And now I'm actually helping you do that. And so it's really shifting from being focused on relationship alone to being focused on yourself as a whole person. And I'm glad that helped you, Jill. Okay, Robin, let's get a look, Robin. Do you know what passion that you already have, or what creative endeavor you have? Is that something that you are already aware of? And I will pull cards for you about it, but just to get a sense of where you are on your journey. Also lets me know that you're still here. Since I can go on with my 2 card readings. Hi, Katie. How are you? Got that card again. That's so interesting. All right. Is Robin still here? I'm just going to check for you. I'm not sure if she's still here. I'm just checking back to see. Yeah, I think Robin might have had to go. Okay, so next up then will be Brenda. I'm pretty sure I still saw you here, Brenda. What am I paying $9 for to Apple? I don't remember. I'm a creative person, but I'm having a hard time figuring which direction to go with life and work. Okay, Brenda. The card I just got. Stop. Okay, so crazy what you just wrote because we got here the career card, and then we also got the moon card, okay, which is a mystery, right? The moon is something that's hidden, something we don't quite know yet. So the stage that you are at in your journey is distinguishing work and career. And so in our society, we have the way that we look at work is that we need to, I think, the way that we have been indoctrinated is that the work that we do is meant to bring us money, bring us abundance, okay? And so we have limiting beliefs about what will accomplish that. Like, obviously, when I was 16 watching Surviving Picasso, I thought to myself, I don't want to do music because I don't think it's going to generate abundance for me, because the only way that you get a lot of abundance in music is if you are in the 90s, you had to have, it was heroin chic city. So you had to be, a stick figure pretty much. You had to be, you had to want to be sexualized. Like, that was a big thing too that I felt. It was really difficult for me to imagine that I was going to be able to be authentic to who I was and be a rock star. I have totally different views on that now, but at the time, that's how I felt. And again, very black and white thinking because I was a teenager. So I was like, okay, well, that's not really going to make me any money, so I'm going to go to school to become a professor because I'll make more money doing that than I would other things, and I think I would enjoy being a professor. So I started studying art history because of that. And that was I was going to go get my PhD and whatever. Now, I wasn't planning to make a whole bunch of money as a professor, but I was expecting that I would have like a comfortable life. Like I would make a decent amount of money. And then that was right around the time when adjunct professorship became the only way you could get a job at a university, and it got bleaker and bleaker financially. And I realized that that was not a good path for me anymore. I also didn't want to take my GREs. I was just like, I can't, I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to study for it. I hadn't done math since 10th grade. I was just like, no, I just don't want to do it. So I was kind of at a loss at that point. Like, how am I going to make money? And I was married and had a child at the time. So I was just like, well, I'm just going to take like odd jobs. I was a bookshelver at a library because I minored in library science. So I just thought, okay, well, I'll just go into library science. Okay. So a lot of the decisions that we make are kind of peripheral to the things we enjoy. We try to find, we're smart. We try to find ways of doing what we like that are going to generate money. But the generation of money is not our business. And it's difficult for us to embrace that because we have been indoctrinated to think otherwise. The generation of money is not our business. And it's difficult for us to embrace that because we have been indoctrinated to think otherwise. What I have discovered in my journey and by watching other creators is that I'm seeing my connection is going out again. So I'm just going to pause for a minute until it goes back. I'm sorry if my connection is not the greatest. It looks like it's kind of flashed in and out here. But what I have done, what I have learned now on my spiritual journey, watching other creators, watching other people do what they love, is that the abundance has nothing to do with how likely you are to receive it. Because I think that you can have, two people can have the same career and one can do much better financially than another person for all kinds of reasons. Their gender, their race, their background, how much schooling they've had. And it's not necessarily that either one of those people is more qualified in any way, shape, or form. They might be equally qualified to do something, but the beliefs that one person has and the other person has, like, that's why white privilege is beneficial, because you believe, like, it's more believable for you that you're gonna be well paid, that you're gonna have a job that's good. That just makes more sense because we've lived in a white supremacist society where that has been true. And when you're approaching that same job and you have other aspects of yourself that aren't in alignment with that one path, then you're gonna feel like, oh, I'm not gonna get paid as much, or people aren't gonna value me as much. And then that's gonna happen, and it's because of the system that we've been indoctrinated to believe in. So we approach our career with this logic where we try to do what seems logical to achieve the abundance that we're seeking. And you have to come at it from the other direction. What work do you like to do? Like I like to teach. I like to sing. I like to entertain people. I like to make people laugh. I like to make people feel seen and heard. Like, that's part of, because had to mask my entire life my autistic like brain. I learned how to be a really great communicator and empathize with people, because you have to do that if you are constantly watching to make sure you're acting how you're supposed to act. So, like, those things feel comfortable, natural to me, and I enjoy the work. Interior decorating and painting pictures. Okay, so you have an artistic, like a visual arts kind of a, what I want to say, like, passion is there, like a passion for the visual arts as expressed through home and environment, etc. So there's probably some subconscious limiting beliefs you have about being able to pursue that as a career. It might be, oh, I have to get a certain amount of schooling, or oh, it doesn't pay well, or oh, I'm going to have to overcome whatever mental obstacle it is to do it. So what you want to work on right now is some fantasizing and some dreaming about what an ideal career might look like to you. Like something that you could imagine really growing. And get into a relaxed state to kind of talk to your higher self about this, because your higher self already knows what you're capable of, and it's really just you that has to get in alignment with that higher self. The higher self knows how to get here, to this place where you're really loving, enjoying your career. It knows that it's going to come from work that you really enjoy. And so start having some conversations, dreaming and fantasizing about what your ideal is in your career. Like, what would make you feel really good? And think outside of the box. Like, you know, you're in the spiritual community here today. So I bet there's probably some segue between interior decorating and painting and creating sacred spaces, or helping people to bring like serenity and peace to their space through how they decorate, using chakras and colors. And I bet there is some element of something about your gifts, your intuitive gifts, or your connection to the divine that you can bring into whatever it is that you want to do. And it's going to distinguish you among others who do it. It's going to give you a niche that other people maybe don't have, or help you to focus more. Because another thing that you have to overcome is overwhelmment. Like, you know, interior decorating and painting is a broad field, right? There's so many different ways where you could work in that energy. So you kind of have to hone in on your vision and what you think would make you feel good. So do some more dreaming about who you want to be. A vision, one of the things I do is I have people do a visualization of your higher self. Imagine the clothes they're wearing. Imagine that self telling you about the work that they do, and just like listen to that, like have a conversation with that self, trying to kind of get to the bottom of what you truly desire to do and how you want to work every day. Picture your ideal work day. What does it look like? Mine's chill, okay? Like, I kind of, you know, I wake up, I'm able to take my dog out, I'm able to, if I want to, I could write my morning pages, I could do yoga. I have a lot of time usually before I have to focus on content, and I'm able to talk to people when I need to. My schedule is flexible. I can't get, like, my thing that I'm working on right now is guaranteeing consistent financial abundance even within that schedule that is ideal for me. So I'm working on that aspect for myself, but kind of just imagine your ideal day. Of course you can, Nicole. Of course you can. Okay, so we did Brenda's reading. Is there anybody else? I can do a card for you right now, Nicole, too. Is there anyone else who would like a card about their passions and what they love to do in the world and how to go deeper into that? And I'm going to pull for you right now, Nicole. And then if any of my subscribers are here and they want a card pulled about a general question, you can, of course, have me do that as well. You're welcome, Brenda. I hope that helps. Keep me posted. I see you next, Steffi. I'll definitely pull a card for you next. So how funny. I'm just writing it down. Interestingly, with my left hand, okay, apparently I can write in cursive with my left hand. I can paint with it, so I guess that makes sense. So, Nicole, the card that I got for you is actually passion. So, do you know, I forgot to ask you, do you know what your passions or interests are already? Like, what you want to pursue? But I am getting this fiery passion card. This is a wand energy for me. And then I'm also getting the Three of Swords in reverse here, which is an interesting combo. So I'm just waiting to see if you do know what your passions are before I move on to the reading. So I'm just waiting to see if you do know what your passions are before I move on to the reading. Mental health therapist, and I like it, but... Hi, Meg, welcome. We have like it's like the cliffhanger, but I love that you're a mental health therapist, by the way. I sometimes wish I had pursued something in mental health. I had considered for a while doing music therapy. That's when I first went to Berkeley. I had considered that as a major, but it was my secondary major. My first major, which when you go to Berkeley, you get accepted into the university, but then you may or may not get accepted into your concentration. And I was applying for electronic production and sound design, which at the time was called music synthesis. I didn't know if I would get into that program, so music therapy was my backup. And sometimes I wish I had done it, because I feel like it probably would have made a lot of sense for my personality. And I kind of do that now in a way, not music therapy, but I definitely act as a counselor, guide. I'm still waiting for the rest of this. All right, well, it'll come in when it's meant to. But so the passion card for me, the fact that you said but, and we're sort of left like, but I feel like you're seeking some way to express more passion or more creativity, I would guess. There's a burning desire that comes from this card, right? This card is like, it's hot. Like there is something that's like burning to be seen or to be heard or to be expressed in some way. The Three of Swords in reverse. Yes, okay, that's interesting. Well, also because if this is Queen of Wands energy, which my passion card I would associate with the Wands, like I said, Queen of Wands is somebody who is gifted. The Three of Swords in reverse is all about healing. So the fact that you are already a healer, a mental health healer, it's showing me that you're in the right place. Like you're in the right place. But maybe that spiritual aspect that you're talking about right now does need to be incorporated in some way. I know that I used to follow this reader. I still follow her, but I just don't see her come up in my FYP as much anymore. But she was a therapist who would read tarot cards. And she, you know, because of the like the ethics with mental health practitioners, I do know that you are limited in your ability to like use tarot cards in your practice or something like that. So there might be like a calling to try to channel that spiritual energy into your practice, because I do see that you help people with heartache and pain, enmeshment, being entangled, decision making, being honest with the self, maybe bringing in Queen of Wands is also vision. So maybe bringing in visualization into your therapy practice, or I think exploring your spiritual gifts is important. The Three of Swords for me upright is a card that is about accepting like a painful truth that we either aren't making some kind of decision or we have made choices that have kind of hurt us. But when it's in reverse, it's like releasing regret or releasing the pain that comes from the realization. So there might be some kind of work that will help you in regards to helping people specifically with releasing their, I just thought self-hatred but blaming the self. Something about blame and shame. I also just think acknowledging that what you already do is something that you do have a lot of passion for. And you are already on a path that is leading you where you want to go. Like, you have made the right choice, or you've made the right decision. I do think that that's coming out clearly because the Three of Swords in reverse is like, I did make the right choice. I'm not hurting myself in this way. And maybe it's also just kind of a message of, it wouldn't hurt to find ways to incorporate spirituality, and maybe just to think about researching how other practitioners might do this. You know, some people, they use sound healing in their practice. There are like medically acceptable and ethical ways of bringing spiritual practice into the work that you do, and maybe kind of doing some research about that. Yes, it can lead to narcissistic types, absolutely. Okay, Steffi, I saw you are ready for a card about your passion and interest. Do you already know what your passion is? Are you aware of what it is that you'd really like to do? I want to create art for others and have already tried to start a business. Okay. We've got willpower coming up. Let me get your tarot card. You're welcome, Nicole. Thanks for being an awesome moderator. I can't believe it, but I just shuffled and the passion card came out and the Three of Swords in reverse came out again. Like, it's crazy to me. The energy was like really persistent there for you. Okay. So I got willpower and then the Three of Pentacles for you. So willpower is complex. We have a lot of shame about willpower in our culture because there are a lot of things that we are told we could accomplish if it were purely by will, if we just had the will to do it. And, you know, I think people with a lot of privilege are able to say that. And I think that people that don't have a lot of external obstacles in their life are very fond of just being like, oh, you just have to have enough willpower, you know? Yeah, definitely meditate on those cards, like Queen of Wands or just that Passion card and the Three of Swords in reverse. 100%. I would definitely get into that a little bit. But yeah, so we tend to like have this cultural attitude that is like, you know, oh, you could lose weight if you just had enough willpower. Totally disregarding the toxicity of our food, the addictive qualities that are literally studied in the laboratory to make us have a very difficult time controlling our willpower so that we will continue to buy multiple packages of Oreo cookies. Like, there is a lot of things that affect our ability to do what it is we really want to do in the world that are true obstacles. They are not just, you know, oh, anyone can overcome that and you just don't have enough will to do it. Okay. So I think getting that belief out of your system, interesting, because the Three of Pentacles is about building a sanctuary. And let me just tell you right now, I am 100% going to validate you on what you just said. I don't have the space to work on it, but I'm trying to find somewhere I can. Okay. Having the space to do something is so integral to being able to do it. And, you know, people will be like, oh, you can't make excuses. It's fine. You can't make excuses. But when you have a space where you can actually do something, it helps you. It helps you be able to be more productive. Before I had my desk that I have in my room, I was using this, you see this chest of drawers behind me? I was sitting at that chest of drawers on a tiny little, like basically, like, you know those little square, like, footrest, you can like open it up and store stuff inside. I was literally sitting on that My knees were almost to my chin. I was incredibly uncomfortable. And I read cards at that for, I think, until my birthday. My mom got me my desk in like the end of July. So June, part of May, June, and part of July, I was sitting in an incredibly uncomfortable position, hurt my back, hurt my knees, affected how long I was able to stay online and do readings. And even right now, I'm sitting in a very uncomfortable chair. Like, I have my desk though. Having my desk, I started working on my planner. I started using my notebooks more. I started writing more. I started having more space to create what I needed to create. And it made a huge difference. So understanding that actually is a valid excuse. Yes, okay, so you're living in your car and looking for housing. That is a valid excuse right now. That's a valid thing that would be a valid obstacle. And it's suggesting to me that you do have the willpower to do the thing that you want to do. And you have to work on your 3D opening up for you to create the space that you need. So right now you have to work on your mindset regarding how to do the thing. Now, after saying that and after validating you and saying like, it does make a difference, let me also add this. I have also been homeless. And first of all, I know that you've been in this situation, so I send all my love and energy your way right now. I know how difficult that is. I have been there. I have done that. Technically, I am somewhat homeless right now, although I'm able to stay at my parents' house, but I'm between my own space. Like, I don't have my own home that I'm living in right now. But I have been in situations where I have been in my car or on people's couches for months on end. It's very difficult to do anything under those circumstances. But when I was living in that situation, I still made band practice every single week. I still rehearsed for shows. I still went and performed shows. I still wrote music. I still recorded music. And in fact, doing that was how I remained sane in the situation I was in. So, when my computer was stolen from me in 2018 from my car, it was stolen out of my car, which was locked and had a 2-point alarm system, and it was tucked away and hidden, and it was still stolen from me. I lost my ability to produce music from my own laptop, number one, and number two, I also had a job as a metadata specialist working for a music publishing company, and I used specific software to do that job. So when my computer was stolen, my ability to work at that job immediately went away, so I lost my computer. I had a $5,000 like MacBook Pro that I used for music production. I lost the ability to replace that. I lost my income, and my son was staying with me over the summer, and we had no housing because the money that I was going to use to move into the next apartment that I was going to live in, I had to use for food and transportation while he was with me. So I actually became homeless while he was with me. He had a great summer because we kept going to people's houses that had pools, and it seemed really fun for him. It was just kind of an adventure, and I was like wanting to die the entire time, but I still was doing music. I still was finding ways to do music. And I remember when I got into that situation, I was frustrated. I can remember railing at the universe and being like, how can you put this calling in me to do music and then take away my ability to do it, take away my space to do it, take away every single thing that would allow me to do what I want to do? How can you do that? How is that helping me? And looking back, I realized that I now have a somewhat cushy place to work on music, in that I have my whole setup around me. I have my keyboard right here. I replaced my computer from the COVID money that we got on unemployment. I have literally all the tools that I need, and I work on music less right now than I did when I was homeless in my car. And there's many reasons for that. Part of the reasons for that are why I'm here today doing this reading. Like, I'm getting back into a space where I'm recognizing that I have been denying myself an integral part of myself. because I've been focused on connection instead of myself. And but I know that being limited, not having my computer, not being able to work on music the way that I had worked on music before, it shifted how I worked on my art. So up until that point, I was producing on my laptop and sharing it with my band at the time. This forced me into a position where all of the production we did was together, and then we used my drummer's computer. Now this turned into a big problem because when he quit the band, he took all of our masters with him. So he took the whole record that I had been working on with them for 2 years and has to this day never given us those masters back. We could probably have taken him to court over it, but it just wasn't worth it. We just ended up going back to the drawing board and recreating all the music, and it was so much better, and I was in charge of it. It taught me so much. So the circumstances that you're in, they are meant to actually help you to focus on the essence of what you desire. Because if all the tools are stripped away from you and you still want to do it, if all you have is a napkin and some Crayola markers in your car, and you can sit there and create some kind of incredible mosaic made from napkins that you got free at a McDonald's, like, you are an artist. You are an artist. You have the will to be an artist, and there are no obstacles that are really going to be able to keep you from doing what you desire. And I predict that if you start to find a way to create what you need to create, that will change your situation with your home. Like, you will move into a place where you will be able to do the work that you need to do. So I don't know what kind of space you need. Obviously, we would have to, maybe when we do your personal reading, you can give me a little bit more information in your email. I don't know what kind of space you need to make your art, but I do know that you probably need to ask for some help from somebody who can help you create that space right now, even if it's a temporary setup in someone's garage. Like, I lived in someone's garage for a while, so I'm sure that there might be somebody out there who'll be like, you need to work on that? You can come work on that in my garage on Saturdays and Sundays, or like after work from whatever time. Just focus not on getting that final apartment or something where you can work, but just right now, find a place where you can do the thing you want to do. Do not let this building of the sanctuary be the obstacle that keeps you from following your will, because your business is going to help you to achieve the abundance you need to create the sanctuary that you desire. And you might have to do a little bit, I had to move back home. I had to move with my parents. Do you think I'm 41 years old? I did not want to move back in with my parents for this length of time. I did not. But that's what happened. All right, so I have to close out this reading, or these readings. If there's anyone else, I think I can do maybe one more person. If you've been waiting here for a while, just put your name in the comments, and I will go ahead and do your reading. And after that, I will sign off, because I actually, at 3 o'clock, I have a meeting with my bass player who is in Los Angeles. We are overcoming the obstacle right now of trying to write and rehearse together without being in the same room, which is difficult in music. I've been trying to use Discord. It's not working. We're going to have to do something else today to try to be able to hear each other in real time so that we can perform together. Because in January, I'm going to do a couple of shows in Los Angeles again. So I will have to sign out soon. Your mom lives 10 hours away. Yeah, I was in Los Angeles and I had to drive all the way back to the East Coast. And y'all, we got, I don't know how many inches of snow, but there's about this much snow on the ground now. I took my dog out today. So technically she had her first real experience of snow was a few nights ago, but it was just kind of a powder that was on the deck. She had her first real experience of snow was a few nights ago, but it was just kind of a powder that was on the deck. It wasn't like a lot, but she was still sniffing it. I took video of it and posted it on TikTok. Then yesterday, I think it was yesterday or the day before, either one or the other, it snowed a bit more. So there was a little bit more, and I put that on TikTok. Well, today we went out there. There's this much snow. I shoveled a little path to walk her near the area where she usually goes to the bathroom, because we have like a backyard, and she has to stay on a leash still. So I have to walk her around the yard. So I shoveled the path and then encouraged her to like go into the yard, and she's just looking at me like, what do I do? I'm like, I don't know. You could climb up there and just squat. I don't know. I guess you're not squatting because the snow was like right at your butt. Like, I don't know. She was so confused. She just kept walking around and around and around trying to figure out like where to go. And then because she was walking, she kind of like created this little flatter area and was able to the bathroom. I was laughing. I was like, you're a husky. I mean, it seems like this should be second nature to you. Like, you do what you gotta do in the snow. Girl, every day it is gonna get higher, so that is what's gonna happen. I have lived here all my life. We had actually one year where I remember I was little, going downstairs, and we had on our back door that we go out onto our deck, because we used to have a pool. We don't have it anymore. We had like an above ground pool, but we tore it down a few years back. But there's this back door that had a window, which was probably like, you know, when I was little, it was probably like up to my, like where my eyes were, so I could like see out the window. And I walked towards the door and realized it was really dark. Like there was not light coming through the window, and I was like, oh, it's dark out. I opened the door and the snow was like above the window. Like it was over my head, like this big. Like the wind had blown it, had like, it was a lot of snow, and then it had drifted so that it was like up against the back door. And when you open the door, it was just like this flat wall of snow. And we had to like, my mom let me like put on my snowsuit, because there was no school obviously. I like put on my snowsuit and just like ran into the wall of snow to like get outside. Oh my god, Northern New York is nutty. All right, Madison, this will be my last reading here. I'm gonna pull a card for Madison. Also Texas Honey, if you want one, I'll do one for you too. So these are my last two readings, but I'll pull a card for you, Madison. Do you know already what your passions or what you want to do, what you love to do? Do you already know that? Hi there, welcome. We're actually kind of closing out. I'm on my last two readings here, but I'm going to post this whole thing as a replay to YouTube so you can see it over there. And welcome back. We're glad to see you. I think it's good when you take a break from tarot readers for a while. I'm transitioning my readings a little bit more to help focus on the feminine energy inside of self. Yes, you do know what your passions are. Okay, I just like to clarify that so I know what stage you are at in your journey. Okay, so the card that came out for you, Madison, the first thing we have is blessings. And the next card that came out was the Lovers. And so I don't know exactly the work that you do. I don't know if it has something to do with love, companionship, or relationship, but it could. But blessings for me is about really acknowledging the blessings that come from whatever your passions are, whatever it is that you love. So this is like being grateful. So the first reading I did, the person I read for doesn't even know exactly what their passions are. You're an artist and you love helping people. So acknowledging and sort of having appreciation for knowing what you want to do or what you love to do, that is a blessing that you have. I've had a lot of people before tell me, like, I wish I knew, like, they knew that I wanted to do music. They're like, oh, I wish I knew that I wanted to do music from such a young age. And I'll be like, no, you don't. Like, one, knowing what you want to do and then realizing you have to do it and how difficult it will be for you to overcome all your limiting beliefs about it. That's another kind of problem to solve, I guess. But so really acknowledging the blessings of being able to do what you love. And I think if you have appreciation for being, first of all, gifted in some way because you've received blessings, what do I want to say? Gifted of your blessings, aware that you're able to help others do what they love too. There's something in here about being able to cause people to understand what it is that they love to do. There is something that you might be benefiting from if you brought that into what you do. And my baby had a birthday, except when I'm driving to work. So I don't know exactly how you are currently doing your art, or she's holding something in her hand like an offering or a gift. So it's like it's really understanding that what you are doing is a blessing to others. To do what you love is a way of modeling behavior, so other people are encouraged to do the same. The creativity there from the divine feminine intuition, being blessed with understanding something about the masculine and feminine energy. So being creative and also taking action, those are two things that are very important in how you are expressing your passions, like how you are actually bringing it to life in the world, physically manifesting it, I guess we would say. So I guess having just appreciation for your gifts and for the power of being able to do what you love. And if that's something that you don't quite believe yet, believing that what you love to do is going to bring you a lot of blessings is really going to help. Okay, so Texas Honey, did you want me to pull cards for you before I head out? I love that. Do you work at all with tarot people who are creating decks? Because I'm always looking for people to work with. All right, let's look at do you know what your passions are? Are you already pursuing your passions, Texas Honey? Waiting to see if you already know what your passions are. You have several. Okay, so maybe honing in on something. All right, so the card that came out for you first is Home, and the Magician, which jumped right out of the deck. And Madison, I was talking to Texas Honey. So the first thing that's coming up for me with this Home card is that whatever you do, it might be something that you are able to do from your home, or it may have to do with the home. But there's a security that comes from this, potentially financial, but also like a sense of security, like you might be passionate about helping others create a sense of security, safety, or coming home to themselves. There is some aspect of that coming from this message. I know, I need this house too, right? It's so cute. And then the Magician card, this is about having all the tools that you need before you. And house flipping, girl, get it. Actually, I have a friend who she started out as a client a couple years ago, and her name is she goes by Kylie White Space, I think, on here, or Kylie White Noise. I can't remember the exact because she's got a couple different accounts because she was a musician, and then she also does interior design. She does all these really cool projects that are like temporary projects, so that you, if you live in an apartment, you can create the space you want, but like not permanently damage the space. So she has really a lot of cool posts about different projects that she's done. And she really has a desire to like purchase a home and decorate it all, but then she's a Sag, so for sure, I'm sure she just would want to flip it. You might be able to work with somebody, in other words. So there might be somebody out there that you could be on a team with, and work with somebody to do whatever it is that you want to do, because of this co-creating card. So you're a Sag too. So then you're bringing that like restless energy to what you want to do. Y'all, Sages, for me, the Page of Wands energy I always feel from Sages, because there's this adventure and exploration. You know, that there's snow that keeps falling off of my roof, and it just like keeps startling me, because I keep seeing like big chunks of it just go like psh, like and my whole window gets dark for a second. So there might be somebody that you could co-create with on whatever it is that you're very passionate about. The other thing I'm seeing is, you know, you said you have several, and the thing about the Magician is that they have several ways to channel their magic, right? Through the emotion, through cups, through passion, through the wands, in the material, or with financial, or with the mind, and with the sword. So there's different ways that you might be able to tap into your passions or express your passions, and it's totally fine to have multiple things. I mean, I definitely have multiple things. I do so many things that it's frustrating, because it's hard for me to pick something a lot, and I get pissed at myself about the little time that I devote to music, and then I'm like, but you do all these other things though. It's not like you're just sitting here twiddling your thumbs. Like, there's, you know, I write poetry, I do all these tarot card readings, I work on my spirituality, I develop, you know, like there's just not just one thing I'm doing, and it's like kind of being okay with that. But definitely something to do with houses, homes, or being at home. If flipping at homes is something that you're interested in, I would say maybe working with somebody. You know, Airbnb interior design right now is a thing, especially with the temporary design. There's all kinds of things to do with that. So opening up your home, I don't know. I always picture having like a space where I can have people come and stay with me, like do a work intensive with me or something. And I always picture that kind of stuff. So just let your imagination kind of run with you about how you might be able to channel what it is you love to do from home or regarding home or something like that. And then embracing that you can have several passions and interests, and you can choose where to focus on them. Hi, welcome. So I'm actually gonna have to go right now, because I do have a meeting in 15 minutes or less than 15 minutes. And I gotta run downstairs and grab some food. So I will see all of you later. I'll be back tomorrow. We will be doing the normal extended Tell Me Everything spread. So we'll be back to divine masculine feminine messages tomorrow. But I just really wanted to honor the divine feminine creativity and passion today, and help you explore yourself a bit more than we do the connection with another person. I think it's important, and I'm really going to make it more of my mission to help us in the collective with that, because I've hit a wall. I can only tell you so many times that you know, that your person will come as soon as you focus on your passions. I guess it's time for me to help you focus on your passions now. So that is my mission for this next while, this next phase, I guess, of my readings. And I hope you all enjoy it. You all have a great day too. Thank you so much to my moderators. All the love. Thank you for the likes and the donations. There's a few people that just donated kindly out of their hearts during this reading, so I really appreciate that. Something that definitely helps me a lot. And if you want to book a private reading, click the link in my profile. Tomorrow, I'm going to have a special code that you can only have live. And basically, I'm going to give you my Black Friday through Cyber Monday code, but you're only going to have access to it if you come to lives. And then the rest of everybody else will get it when I release my posts next Thursday for Black Friday. So you'll have an early bird special if you want to be able to book a private reading at a discount. I'm going to start putting that out tomorrow and hyping that code this week. So take advantage of that, and I will see you all later. Have the best day today. Take care. I will see you all later. Have the best day today. Take care.